right? Okay, so in this way Vaibhav is able to connect to the SQL server, right? So Vaibhav don't use a different user and all. Vaibhav will simply, okay, connect to the server remotely. While connecting to the server remotely, like in the MSTSC section, right? If you open MSTSC, Vaibhav will give his name here. Once he just clicked on okay connect button, Vaibhav will give, instead of administrator, this is administrator, right? More choices and use a different account, right? Vaibhav will give his own name and password he will give. As of now, one account is already connected to the server remotely, right? So it might throw error. It won't allow us to connect, right? Because of some security, usually one account only administrator can connect. If we want to access using a different account and all, again you have to give extra permissions to Vaibhav. That we don't do actually. Okay, Windows team. This is done by the Windows team. Just a minute. Let me hide this meeting details. Right. Okay. No problem. So in the meantime, where is our server? Yeah, this is our server, right? So this is how you can see, guys. If you see here, Vaibhav cannot see all the components, right? Vaibhav cannot see all the components here. If you see here, sir, what components are missing, right? If you see, if you observe, right? If you observe here, can you tell me what are the components are missing, guys, from here to here?
SQL Server agent.
Right, agent you don't see here. Why I don't see agent here? Why I don't see agent here?
Event.
I means this guy Vaibhav. Okay, if you see here, this is Vaibhav account. Why I don't see Vaibhav? Why Vaibhav can't see agent? Why administrator can see agent?
Permissions not given.
Correct. Vaibhav doesn't have complete permissions to see the agent also. Vaibhav is just a login, guys. Vaibhav is just a login. Okay, so Vaibhav can't see his account. Vaibhav can't see, I mean, like Vaibhav can see only some basic things and all until he get the permissions, complete permissions. Vaibhav can't see other components like agent and all. And if Vaibhav is trying to access any of the database, he will get the error like this, right? If you see here, if Vaibhav is trying to access any of the database, he is getting the error, right? Why? Because Vaibhav doesn't have access. But if I am trying to access the databases, if I am trying to access the databases, you can see here Vaibhav is able to access the databases and all. This is how it will work, guys. This is how it will work. By default, Vaibhav doesn't have complete permissions, right? So this is how it will work for Vaibhav. If I gave access to Vaibhav on any of the database, Vaibhav can connect to the SQL, I mean like can access the databases and all. This is your Windows login. Okay, let's create a SQL login. Security, logins, right click, new login. Same process. Now I have to choose which authentication, guys, for SQL login.
SQL Server authentication.
Right, choose this authentication. For this there is no prerequisite, guys. For Windows there is a prerequisite. The user account should be created in the Windows level or AD level, Active Directory. AD means Active Directory level. But for SQL Server authentication there is no prerequisite. You can create, okay, a direct login for a SQL authentication. Now tell me, can I create a SQL login for Vaibhav? Vaibhav is already Windows login, right? Can I create a SQL login for Vaibhav? Is it possible? Just try. Yes or no? No problem.
I think yes, sir.
Yes.
I think also yes. Sir.
Right. So let's try. Okay, Vaibhav. SQL authentication. See, once you choose SQL authentication, it will ask you password now. The username is Vaibhav. Now it is asking for password. Okay. So password again, you have to give strong password. 123 123. Okay. So if you want to give weak password and all, you have to uncheck this. You have to uncheck this so that it won't apply password policy. You can give minimum 3 characters or 3 numbers, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4, like that you can give. But for that you have to uncheck. If you want to give weak password, you have to uncheck. In the organization we don't give any weak password, right? So we'll give strong password only, right? So let it be, no issues. Click OK, right? I can create, guys, for a same user I can create Windows login and SQL login also. But if you see, this login and this login is different, guys. If you observe, this and this one is different. Please mute it. This one and this one is different, guys. How? Why? Because this is
That
a
is
Windows login. Yeah, you can see with Windows name. If you see the login with computer name, that is a Windows login. If you see a single login name without computer name and all, that is a SQL login, guys. Right? If I gave access to Vaibhav as a SQL login, then how Vaibhav will connect to the SQL server? Then he will directly open SSMS in his laptop and he will click on connect button. He will give the server name here. He will choose SQL Server authentication. He will give his name Vaibhav and he will give his password. We will give the password to him, right? So actually, while creating the new login, we have selected a password policy, and the user must change the password in the first attempt, first login attempt. If I click on connect, it will ask us again. It was disconnected. It will ask Vaibhav to change his password. Immediately, he will get a pop-up. It will ask Vaibhav to change his password, guys. Here, let's see how Vaibhav is able to connect. Let me click on connect button. Right, login failed for the user. Why, guys? What is the reason? We gave proper username and proper password. Password is correct. There is no wrong in the password. But Vaibhav is
username,
unable
sir.
to connect. Username is also correct. Vaibhav, right? Vaibhav. Vaibhav. Tell me, guys, how to
Server
troubleshoot.
name.
Server name is what happened to the server name, sir? The same server we created for Vaibhav, right? What server name we have to
Yeah.
give here? Tell me. If server name is wrong, what server name we have to give here?
Server name will be same, na, sir, for all.
Same. Why? Why? Because we have created user in the same server, right? We have created login in the same server, so there is no issue with the server name. But there is an issue here. That's why Vibe is unable to log in. We'll get this error in 2-3 scenarios, guys. This 18456. Remember, login failure means 18456 error. We'll get this error in 2-3 scenarios. One is if login is not existed, you will get this error. If Vibo login is not existed, you will get this 18456 error. If Vaibhav gave wrong username or password, either username or password instead of Vaibhav, okay, if he missed A or H something, he missed in his name, okay, while typing, okay, so in that case also, if you gave wrong username also, it will throw the 18456 error. If you gave wrong password also, it will throw 18456 error, right? There is one more scenario that is called third scenario. What is that scenario? Can anyone guess?
Maybe the user is both those scenario it is existent. Maybe it is confusing to
No, it is
which.
confusing. Huh? Oh my god, which Vibo I have to log in? I'm confusing. Huh? Okay, so go to the server and go to the security server properties. Go to server properties and go to security. Okay, server properties, right click properties. Right now go to security. Now, now tell me the answer. Now just guess it, guys.
Sir. We have
Sir,
to choose
SQL
SQL
server
Server
and
and Windows
Windows
authentication mode.
authentication.
Good, good, good. Okay. Actually, this
Second
server
one.
is configured with Windows authentication, guys.
Okay.
This server is
Yes, sir.
configured during installation. I just selected Windows authentication. This server is configured with Windows authentication. Okay. So only Windows login are able to connect to the server as of now. As I have selected Windows authentication, only Windows logins are able to connect to the SQL server now. Once if I choose this option and Windows login as well as SQL logins also can connect to the SQL server. This is the third case. Okay, wrong username, wrong password, login is not present or not created, not existed. In all these cases, you will get 18456 error. Apart from that, this is also one more case. You will get 18456 error. So you have to choose. Usually in the organization, it will you can see this second option SQL Server and Windows authentication, which is called mixed mode authentication. Mixed mode, both Windows and SQL, right? That is called mixed mode authentication. Okay, click OK. So now if I change the configuration value, see here some of your configuration changes will not take effect until SQL Server is restarted. If you change some of the configuration values, it will take effect once you restart the SQL Server. Until then, it don't take effect. If you want, you can try. Okay, again you can choose SQL authentication. This time Okay, again I am giving the username and password. Okay, again you will get 18456 error. Okay, so that's what you can see here, right? Earlier we saw one error. I'm sorry, not this jobs. Go to management, go to SQL Server error log, go to current. If you see here integrated security, okay, see here Vaibhav reason an attempt to log in using SQL authentication failed. Server is configured for integrated authentication only. Integrated authentication means Windows authentication only. Hey, server is configured Windows authentication, but you are using SQL login. Please reconfigure your SQL server. So I just reconfigured my SQL server with the Windows and SQL authentication. Now once you changed it, you have to restart it. Until then, you cannot. Okay, the new settings won't be applied until you restart. New settings won't be applied. So in the organization, 90%, 99 percentage during installation they will choose, okay, mixed board authentication only. After installation, if the server goes live, you cannot change whenever you want. Why? Because while changing, if it wants to take effect, you have to restart the SQL server. Okay, so you cannot restart whenever you want in the organization, right? You have to take approvals. Once they approve, then only you have to change the settings and you have to restart it. Now let's connect as Vaibhav. Okay, again choose SQL Server authentication. Again, okay, 1 2 3. Now see here, your password is expired. Only for one attempt the password, the default password will work. Once I created a login for Vaibhav, I'll send an email. Hey Vaibhav, your account is created. Your username is this and your password is this. Okay. Please immediately change the first password. Immediately change the password once you log into the SQL server during first attempt. So Vaibhav will get the pop-up like this. Vaibhav will give his own password now. So there is no chance, even DBS also can't track the Vaibhav password, guys. Okay, right? So this is how he is able to connect, guys. This is how he is able to connect. And if you see here, the same SQL server, second connection. Same SQL server, second connection, that is Vaibhav connection. Or Vaibhav session, you can call it as. Is it clear, guys? Any issues, any doubts in creating Windows login, SQL login? Any issues, guys?
Sir, below that Windows authentication and SQL authentication, there is
There
one
are
login
there
article,
are
sir.
see that will consider, we will use only two for on-prem SQL DBA. We will use only two, either Windows or SQL. There are some Azure MFS and all multi-factor authentications and all. We don't use it. If you are connecting to the, see, using SSMS, you can connect to any server. You can connect to Azure servers also. For that, you will use another authentication mode, other authentication modes and all. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions, guys? Please let me know if you have any questions.
Sir,
Any
you
questions
have
here?
said, sir, I have
Yes,
one
please.
question, sir. In the
Yes,
previous class, you have said that IT support will install SSM in a developer's laptop, no, sir.
correct. Yes.
Up to 2005, there is no SSM. From
Hmm.
2008 to
We will
2014,
only see. That is a completely wrong assumption, Basha. Okay. See, installing SSMS in the server is different. Installing SSMS in the client is different. So in that case, sir, how they are going to install SSMS up to SQL Server 2014 in the client machine, if you ask like that? Okay, I told you during installation, I told you one option. Till 2014, the SSMS is like it is inbuilt in the SQL Server software. So there is a feature called, in the shared features, one feature called management tools. They
yes,
have
sir,
to
management
choose that
tool.
management tools to install SSMS. Then once they choose that management tools, then SSMS will be installed in their client machines or users machines. They don't install SQL Server, only they will choose management tools from that feature section.
Only that feature they will. After that,
Only
they
that
will
feature,
install.
only that single feature they will install.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, guys? Any questions?
Sir, DBS will connect through Windows authentication, no, sir. Developers will connect through SQL authentication.
Yes, this is what we have already discussed in the last class. DBS will always use Windows authentication. Guys, this is very important. Security is very important. I need response from everyone. So is it clear? Anil,
Yes, sir, we are clear. For
Gozi,
me, clear.
okay,
Clear, sir.
Priyanka,
Clear,
Giri,
sir.
Goda,
Clear, sir.
Pratyusha, Samir, and Vaibhav, Vasavi, Rajesh.
Clear,
Yeah,
sir.
I am clear, sir,
Uh,
from my side.
If you have any doubts, let me
for
know. No problem. Yes, please, Giri.
for mixed mode only, it is asking for restarting, right?
Yes, correct. If you change the authentication, it will ask, okay, restart.
Only changing time.
Right, during the changing.
Okay.
Any other
Sir,
questions?
if,
Yeah.
sir,
Yes,
if you
please.
change anything in SQL Server, only server need to restart. And if you
See, not all the
if you-
changes. See, some memory, if you change memory, no need to restart. Some configuration changes, if you do, you have to restart, but it will let you know you have to restart to take effect. Like that, it will let you know. Some changes like authentication changes and all. Okay, so some other changes are there. Okay, those changes needs reboot. If you change the memory settings like minimum server memory, maximum server memory, query timeout settings, these changes won't take effect. I mean, like it won't need any restart. You can change it on the fly. On the fly means if the server is online, you no need to like restart the server and all to take the effect.
in real time scenario,
Hmm.
so maybe employees will come and go now. So maybe if you add any new employee, then you need to restart now. So in that case,
No, no, no,
how
no,
you
no,
can
no, no,
make
no, 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 no. That is very okay. Complete scenario. That's okay. Your question
okay,
is like a valid question. I'll agree. But adding databases, adding logins, adding objects doesn't need restart.
okay, okay,
Changing
only
the
we change the
settings.
mix,
Changing the
mix.
settings.
Okay.
That too, some of the settings, not all the settings. Changing the settings only needs restart. But creating database, adding logins, that doesn't need any restart. In that case, the server will be down across 24 by 7, 365 days. People will come and
Yeah,
go. That's very common,
correct, sir.
right? If
Yeah,
you people are
only
clear, yes, yes, please.
only that the installation related. Only we need to restart that server itself, Windows server.
As of now, yes. As of now, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Guys, any issues are there? Let me know. Otherwise, I'll continue for group login. We have one more
Uh,
login, right? Group login. Yes, please.
Regularly, what kind of authentication is used? AD or server?
See, there is no
SQL server.
server. That's what to just let you
SQL
know.
server.
Yes, to just let you know. You are asking SQL or Windows, right? That you are asking.
No. AD or SQL server
Windows, sir,
logins.
not SQL server. Windows login. Okay, AD logins means the user is created, that you can treat it as a Windows login, but you are not going to create in the Windows server. The same action will be done in the AD machine.
Okay. In real time, what kind of authentication?
ADs only will use AD account
Okay.
only. Why? Because it's very secured and it's a global. Why? Because imagine I have 10 servers, 1.9 is there, right? Up to 9 servers are there, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1. If this Vibo wants to access all the 9 servers, I have to create 9 users for Vibo in 9 machines. Agree?
Okay.
Right? Agree, right?
Agree.
See, 9 servers are there. Vibo has to connect to these 9 servers as a Windows login. Now what I have to do? 1.1 I have to create Vibo. In 1.2 I have to create Vibo user. In 1.3 I have to create Vibo user. 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9 also I have to create Vibo Windows user. Okay, if imagine 100 servers are there, if Vibo wants to connect to 100 servers, 100 Vibos I have to create. This is a very big headache. If this is only for Vibo, imagine 10 DBS are there, 10 into 100 server, 1000 users I have to create. Is it possible? So
No.
this challenge can be fixed using AD. AD is a central repository for the security. Once you create user in the AD, that person can access to any of the Windows machines if you gave access. Okay.
Okay. Clear.
Any other questions, guys?
Sir, now you have created two accounts, no, sir, for the same person.
Right.
Sir, if you are connecting to the SQL server through Windows authentication, only 2% will be connected
2%. See,
remotely.
yes, that's okay. Yes, only 2 persons can connect to the Windows server remotely. Yes,
If you are connecting to the direct SQL server through SQL authentication, 3 to 76% will be connected, no, sir.
correct. That's true.
If the DBA don't have work up to Windows level, can he connect to the SQL server authentication level?
Tell me what is the main prerequisite if you want to connect as a SQL login?
Just username and password.
Which username and password?
SQL authentication user.
Right? Why I'll create two logins for each person? Right? So you are saying if other port is completely busy, if RDP is completely busy with two other persons, can Vaibhav logged in using SQL login? Right? You are asking.
Yes, sir.
Why I'll create two logins for Vaibhav? If I create two logins for Vaibhav, I have to create two logins for each DBA. Right? That's not the case. You can do that. It's not going to deny you. You can do that. Technically, you can do that. But as per the policy, you cannot do that. As per the
Okay.
standards, you cannot do that.
Only one account will be created for each.
Correct. For one person, one account will be there.
If two persons have same name, how do we?
They will go initiate with the differentiate. We'll differentiate with the surnames and all. See, Vaibhav.v, Vaibhav.k.
Oh,
If still
okay.
both are same Vaibhav V, then we'll add Vaibhav 2 or Vaibhav 3. Like that, you can see multiple accounts in the organization. It's very common.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay, done. So let's create the group login then. See, group login means technically it's a Windows login only. Okay, that's why you don't see anything like group login. While creating a new login, you can see two logins: Windows authentication, SQL authentication. That's it. You don't have any group authentication or group login and all. Okay, technically there is no group login. Okay, group login means Windows authentication only. Group login means Windows authentication only. So for Windows authentication, what is the prerequisite? What is the prerequisite for Windows authentication?
Windows users.
Windows users. Okay, right. So I'll create. What is the advantage of the group login? I'll tell you first. See, group login actually, if imagine I have 10 DBAs, okay, if I have 10 DBAs, I have to create 10 accounts for these 10 DBAs, then these 10 people can connect to the server. You can do that. You can create this 10 DBAs in the Active Directory so that you can create Windows logins for these 10 DBAs. But it doesn't looks good, guys. Okay, if you expand the logins list, if you expand the particular security logins list and all, just 1 minute, guys, I'll be back. Just 1 minute. Right. Fine. So group login, what is this? If you expand the logins list, if I create each login for each person, okay, you can say a big list. So is that a problem? Actually, that is not a problem. That is also one kind of that's like you have to follow the policies or like best practices and all. What is the main challenge if you ask me? Imagine Vaibhav is there. Okay, I created a login for Vaibhav. Like that, you all people, 15 people, 14 people are there in this group. You all are DBAs. I created 14 logins in the SQL server. Right? Right. So all 15 people won't join at a time, right? Someone will join, okay, 1 year back or 2 years back, or like after 1 year they are going to join. So people will join in different time frames and all. Right. So if anyone left the company, if Vaibhav left the company, again I have to delete this Vaibhav from all the servers. Okay. Again I have to delete this Vaibhav from all the servers. Or if any new person joined in the company, some other person joined, Ankur is a new guy, he joined in the company. So in that case, if I have 100 servers, again I have to add Ankur in all the 100 servers. Again in 100 servers I have to create Ankur. So this is not the best practice. Or I want to give same permissions to everyone. Again I have to give permissions to each and everyone. If 10 logins are there, for 10 logins I have to give permissions. Individual permissions I have to give. We can avoid all these things, we can avoid all these challenges with the help of group login. Group login means group of people, that's it. Group of Windows logins, you can say, or Windows users, you can say. Right. So what I'll do, I'll create a SQL DBA group in the Windows level or AD level. Okay, I'll create a Windows group in the in the Windows level or AD level. Then I'll add all the people to the group, guys. I'll add all the people to the group. We have 14 people are there, right? I'll add all 14 people to the group. Simply I'll create only a Windows login in the SQL server, so that all the people that are there in this Windows group can able to connect to the SQL server and access the SQL server. Simply, instead of each and every person creating login for each person, I'm creating a group and I'm adding all the people to the group login. So all the people in that group can able to connect to the SQL server, or can access the SQL server. So the main advantage is, if you want to give permission, you can give permissions on the group level. So all the people in that group will get the same access. If you want to remove the permissions, you can remove the permissions from the group. All the permissions will lose access. Okay, that is the biggest advantage with the group login. So in the organizations, mostly you'll see group logins. Okay, mostly you'll see group logins only. Why? Because individual logins means again you have to giving permissions, removing permissions. Lot of headaches will be there. If you maintain group logins, then okay, we can give permissions to the whole group. Some other if that Vaibhav resigned from the office, he got another opportunity, good opportunity in some other company, then we'll remove Vaibhav account from that group. If someone joined, Ankur joined, we'll add Ankur to that group, so that I don't give access to Ankur again on all the databases and all. Simply if I add Ankur to the group, whatever permissions are there on the group, all the permissions will be applied on the Ankur. Is it clear about group login?
So the persons you have created in the group, they can be either Windows authentication level or SQL level authentication.
Only Windows authentication. That's what I said. Windows logins. There is no SQL authentication. I cannot group Windows and SQL logins. No. Only Windows. Why? Because group can be created in the. I told you technically there is no group login in the SQL server. But if you create a group in the Windows level, okay, that group you can add as a Windows login. That's it. Okay, it's not a SQL level feature, guys. It's not SQL server feature. For SQL server, it doesn't know whether it is a Windows login, an individual login, or group login. It doesn't know. It will treat it as a login. This feature only is there for only Windows logins. Means you can club all the Windows logins, not SQL logins.
That means for developers there will be no option. For that we have to
That's not
create
like,
a
see, I am
individual.
not saying, see, I have never said developers will only have SQL access. They might have Windows access also. Okay,
Okay.
right. And the meeting is going to close now. Let me reopen it. Please use the same link to join, guys.